Hello everyone, please press subscribe, press follow, press the bell so you don't miss any new clips. Astral Pets Store. Author by Ancient She. Audio novels by Novelist. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 76. Promos. I'm serious. Su Ping thought for a moment and nodded. Sure. Since he was going to advertise his shop, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go to the academy for this purpose. The students of such a famous school were the ones who were willing to put in a lot of effort on their pets, unlike those ordinary passers-by who would just casually raise a house cat for fun and would not spend a lot of time to nurture them. Really? Su Yanying's eyes lit up with excitement when she heard Su Ping's decision. In her view, Su Ping was always a mysterious man. There had to be an extremely powerful teacher, probably a retired but formerly renowned pet warrior, backing him up. It would be very beneficial to get involved with such an entity. Should I pick you up tomorrow? She quickly followed up while the iron was hot. Su Ping nodded. When will the match start? There are a few exhibition matches scheduled. Yi Hao and I will be the finalists in the evening, Su Yanying said immediately. There was a hint of smugness on her face. After all, she had made it to the finals. Previously, she had been looking forward to becoming the champion. However, as she fought more matches with the lightning rat, she realized that she would have stopped at the quarterfinals at best without her pet rodent. There were way too many hidden talents in college that she had overlooked. It was for this reason that she was especially grateful to Su Ping for the honor of entering the finals. She gained more than she expected. Who is Yi Hao? Asked Su Ping. He's the champion of our academy, the one who defeated me. Su Yanying giggled. She didn't seem disappointed at all. That was a thunder basilisk after all, the strongest rank below beast kings. Su Ping's lips twitched when he saw her innocuous look. I'll pick you up tomorrow in the evening then. At what time? Su Yanying blinked happily. Let's see. In the afternoon, around 4 o'clock. You want to be there earlier? Su Yanying's eyes twinkled again. Of course she wanted to spend more time with Su Ping and learn more about pets. Su Ping nodded. I'll have to trouble you with something. Speaking of which, it's not against the rules to hand out flyers in your academy, is it? Flyers. Su Yanying's shoulders slumped as she looked at Su Ping in shock. He only wants to advertise the shop. Seriously. Looking at Su Ping's serious expression, Su Yanying was finally convinced that he was indeed asking her for help in this matter. But why would someone like him need cheap promotion like this? Mr. Su, with your skills and such, you know, is it all right to be handing out flyers? Su Yanying asked, looking uncertain. Probably not. Su Yanying heaved a sigh of relief. I knew it. An expert like him couldn't actually. I can't do that, but you can. Su Ping looked at her. Remember to bring your partner. I'll print the flyers later, you two will be in charge of passing them out. Make sure to pick whoever looks rich. Don't even bother with the others. We'll just waste our time. He means it. Su Yanying just felt that she had fallen into a trap. A general publicist. Me. He asked a school belle like me, who just won the silver medal in the tournament, to do grunt work. What do you say? Su Ping was still asking for her opinion. Su Yanying wanted to refuse. But when she remembered that she was supposed to thank Su Ping properly. Fine, I'll do it. Su Ping nodded in satisfaction. Is there anything else? Need to buy something? Su Yanying subconsciously glanced at a shelf nearby and quickly jerked her head away when she saw an item priced at 1.2 million. I don't need to buy something for my pet to be trained in the shop, right? No you don't. Note that the training you'll get from now on is ordinary. Don't expect insane boosts like before. What do you mean with ordinary? Like, your pet will only get one skill out of each service, or have its rank improved by half a rank or so. Su Yanying found it difficult to speak all of a sudden. You call that ordinary? A common pet shop would do a pretty good job by improving someone's pet just a bit. Learning new skills would cost extra cash. A lot of cash. When Su Yanying thought about how her lightning rat was growing so rapidly, she suddenly realized that Su Ping was not exaggerating things. In this particular shop, being ordinary meant being good. He is a hidden expert. No doubt about it. I can't judge him by common sense. I see. I'm going to keep all my pets here, Xuanhuan said immediately. She had to seize this rare opportunity as soon as possible. Luckily for her, there were no other customers present. She feared that she wouldn't be as lucky once the shop was known by more people. She suddenly regretted agreeing to help Su Ping advertise. It would be better if she was the only one who knew such a hidden treasure vault. But on second thought, it was impossible for her to keep things covered anyway. What she needed to do right then was to use the chance to her advantage as much as she could before more people overran this shop. Mister, can I get a membership here? Su Ping raised his eyebrow and saw through her thoughts. No. Or, the service fee is the same as before. First to third rank, 10,000. Fourth to sixth, 100,000. How many pets do you want to train? Xuanhuan suddenly realized that she was in a tight spot. She was just a student. She had spent most of her allowance the other day and still owed her good friend Lan Lele money. How would she find that much money? Xuanhuan blushed. I didn't bring enough money today. Maybe next time. Su Ping didn't look convinced. Xuanhuan showed a silly smile and waved her hand. See you tomorrow, Mr. Su. Boo-bye. With that, she turned around and escaped. Su Ping shook his head. It's not like I'm mugging her. Why did she look so scared? He remained at the shop for the rest of the day without receiving any customers, then he went back home at night. As soon as he entered his home, Su Ping heard Su Lingyu asking their mum for pocket money. Apparently, she wanted to buy a lightning rat as well. The new pet craze reached all the way to my house. Su Ping removed his shoes and stepped into the living room. The girl who was affectionately tugging her mother's arm suddenly sat up straight and regained her indifferent composure within a second. Su Ping rolled his eyes and asked whether dinner was ready. Li Qingru gladly went to the kitchen to warm up his meal. Su Ping washed his hands and sat at the dining table. He looked at Su Lingyu, who had yet to leave. I heard that your school has an exhibition match tomorrow. Where did you hear that from? I just heard it from a customer, Su Ping said casually. Are you going on stage? Su Lingyu wanted to know who this customer was, but her proud character forbade her from asking his brother more unnecessary questions. Of course I am. I'm the champion of all freshmen. I will show up in the finale for tomorrow's performance. Isn't the finale for third years? Su Lingyu was furious. Well, I'm the champion of my peers. You got a problem with that? Astral Pet Store. Chapter 77, Flyer Campaign. Su Ping. Soon, Li Qingru brought over the food. Su Ping was surprised to find that there were quite a lot of dishes left. What was more, there was actually meat left in his share. Su Ping glanced at Su Lingyu, who snorted and looked away. She knows how to be a good girl once in a while. Still, Su Ping wasn't going to test his sister's patience. He started eating without saying another word. When Li Qingru sat down again, Su Lingyu continued with her earlier plea. Mum, it's true. Help me out. You have no idea how popular the lightning rat is right now. Its potential has been severely underestimated. Apart from that particular pet star in our school, I heard that there's also a third-rank lightning rat in Nanxiang Academy who defeated a fourth-rank flora trapper. Everybody is right. These rats are hidden jewels. Cough. Su Ping choked on his food. He quickly downed a glass of water to recover. Come on, I tried to be nice today. I won't take all your stuff. Su Lingyu rolled her eyes. Yeah, right. Su Ping noticed that his sister was probably talking about a real, genius rat, since he didn't remember helping a second one. But this isn't a common occurrence, dear. No matter how outstanding lightning rats are, they're still low-rank pets. Their bloodline potential is limited. Li Qingru was an adult and a beginner-level trainer. She was more rational about this matter. What we can learn from this is that, as long as one is talented and has good aptitude, even a lightning rat would be able to display astonishing abilities. This also applies to your phantom flame beast. There's no need for you to buy a lightning rat and spend more time and resources to nurture it. 1 or 2 strong pets are enough for you. Focus on the Mirage Flame Beast for now, and it will repay you. Su Ping didn't expect his mother to speak like this, although he totally agreed. You're right, Mum. Su Lingyu shot him a murderous look, then she looked at Li Qingru with a completely different expression. But Mum, did you know that the teachers in the academy are constantly asking students about their lightning rats to see whether they are doing a good job? If I don't have one, how am I supposed to answer? Li Qingru was surprised by this. What? That's not right. There are so many astral pets out there. They can't snub other pets just because of a lightning rat becoming famous. Su Ping easily saw through the girl's excuse but didn't point it out directly. Agreed. If every teacher is that stupid, that academy will close down in no time. Can't you keep your mouth shut? Su Lingyu used that devilish look at Su Ping again. In fact, she would look just like a devil if something bloody were painted on her face. Isn't she always smart when playing pranks? Su Ping thought to himself, I see. She's not so good at lying. Well, at least she knows how to bide her time. The rat problem started almost a week ago, and she's only asking now. She's still a girl after all. All the general opinions and media will get to her eventually. Nevertheless, her dogged persuasion bore fruit in the end. Li Qingru agreed to Su Lingyu's request. Lightning rats were not expensive. 5,000 was enough to buy an adult one. Breeders didn't usually sell them to make profit straight away. Instead, pet food was the biggest part of their revenue. Li Qingru was mainly worried that an additional pet would distract Su Lingyu. But seeing how determined she was, Li Qingru had to comply. Su Lingyu almost danced in joy. Then she remembered something. Oh right, Mum, are you going to watch the exhibition match tomorrow? Li Qingru had heard of this. She shook her head. I'm not feeling well, dear, so I won't be going. Su Ping gave his mother a worried look. He knew the reason for her condition. There was one time when she kept someone's pet in the shop as requested. However, the pet was still feral and had not been subdued by a contract. Without its master nearby, it lost control and attacked Li Qingru when she wasn't paying attention. Fortunately, she reacted quickly enough to keep her life. But the incident left an ailment that prevented her from working for extended periods of time. The owner of the problematic pet didn't pay any compensation. Instead, he accused Li Qingru of not taking care of the pet, which caused it to go wild. The dispute underwent a large amount of judicial procedures and also involved a lot of running around. In the end, Li Qingru received a few $100,000 as the final result. Such an amount was rather pointless compared to a person's long-term health. However, there was nothing else she could do. Su Ping remembered seeing some rare medicines in the settler's vault that could even help people regrow lost limbs. There was bound to be something he could use for his mother. But good medicine was extremely costly. He might need millions of merit points. Damn it. Maybe I need to go on a settler mission again, Su Ping thought to himself. If he remembered this matter earlier, he could have saved up the points. Su Lingyu's eyes dimmed a little when she heard Li Qingru's words, but soon recovered her smile. I'll ask my classmates to help me take a video then, so you can watch it later. Sure. Li Qingru smiled back. Su Lingyu left her seat to go upstairs. On her way, there was a brief and somber scowl as she glanced at her mother's injured leg. Seeing this, Su Ping felt something click in his mind, though he didn't say anything. The next morning, Su Ping had a night of peaceful sleep and there were no spooky pranks in the morning. Su Lingyu was already having breakfast when he went downstairs. A few girls stood at the door and called Su Lingyu's name. They were the girls from last time. While on her way out, Su Lingyu tossed a small card on the table. Here, a ticket. You can take a look if you want, or throw it away. I don't care. She left with her friends before Su Ping could say anything. Li Qingru left the kitchen and saw what just happened. She said, if you're not busy with the shop, you can go see your sister and cheer for her. Being her brother means that you should stand for her and keep her safe. Su Ping almost rolled his eyes. Keeping her safe? It's more like stopping her from hurting other people. All things said, he was planning on going to the academy anyway. He put the ticket away and left for work on his bike. He studied a full day at the shop, and just like usual, not a single customer showed up. He prepared the printed flyers in the afternoon. When it was almost 4 o'clock, two bright-looking girls appeared at the entrance of the store, Xuanhuan and her friend Lan Lele, whom he had agreed to meet the day before. "Hey dude, do you really want us to hand out flyers for you?" Lan Lele was at a loss when she saw the thick stack of handouts in Su Ping's arms. "Why else would I ask you to come? You." Lan Lele felt angered again. She always did when she visited the store. Xuanhuan quickly tried to smooth things over. "It's okay, I promised. Lele, my beautiful friend, you agreed to help me. Pretty please." Lan Lele spat in disdain but still took the papers. "It's almost time. Let's go." Su Ping checked the clock and went to lock the door, while the two girls called for a taxi. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 78. Fame 2. Su Ping sat in the front passenger seat of the taxi, letting the two girls sit in the back. Then, he told the driver to go to Phoenix Peak Academy. By looking at the three in the direction they were headed, the driver guessed that they were all students of the Phoenix Peak Academy. They were easy to chat with and he got to learn more about battle pet warriors. Being an ordinary person, he was even more curious about it. Su Ping spoke less, fearing that it would affect the driver's navigation. Half an hour later, they arrived at the entrance of the academy. The streets in the area were already wide enough, and yet, they were filled with all sorts of famous cars. A few handsome young men and girls walked out of the cars. They were all students of Phoenix Peak Academy. In order to get into this well-known Astral Pet school, one had to have good grades and a rich family background. At the very least, one had to be from a well-off family, since the tuition fees were more than 10 times more expensive when compared to ordinary universities. Just the cost of buying pets and nurturing them was a weight that ordinary families could not afford. The car stopped by the side. Su Ping pushed the door open and got out of the car. Lan Lele paid the fare behind him. Su Ping took a glance at the academy entrance, which was still rather imposing. He was satisfied and took the lead to enter. Xuanhuan and Lan Lele hurried to follow Su Ping. Xuanhuan was surprised to see that Su Ping was familiar with the way. "You've been to our school?" "No," Su Ping replied without looking back. Xuanhuan was stunned. "Why does it feel like you're in your home when you've never been here before?" It had to be known that most people who had just arrived at Phoenix Peak Academy would be shocked by the massive sculpture of a phoenix at the entrance of the academy, spreading its wings and soaring. That lifelike statue had been created by a famous craftsman to depict the king of beasts, the purple-tailed divine phoenix. It had the imposing aura of a beast king. Back when she had just entered Phoenix Peak Academy, she was just like the other freshmen. She had been stunned by the sculptured phoenix at the entrance for a long time. She got used to it after a long time passed. This was one of the famous sights of her school, and also the pride of the students. "This guy," Xuanhuan mumbled and caught up with Su Ping. The exhibition match would be held that day. Many of the students who entered the academy were accompanied by elegant and graceful figures. They were their parents, and some even brought their siblings. "Hey, isn't that Xuanhuan?" All of a sudden, a girl saw Xuanhuan behind Su Ping and covered her mouth in shock. She was pleasantly surprised. Hearing the words, Xuanhuan, the surrounding students immediately turned their heads over. When they saw Xuanhuan's face, exclamations were heard and the crowd quickly surrounded her. Even in the past, Xuanhuan was considered a famous person in the school. After all, she was one of the most beautiful students, and she was in the top 10 of the girls' battle power ranking. She had both beauty and strength. Which guy didn't want to conquer her? Or perhaps, be conquered by her? Ever since the end of the annual competition, Xuanhuan had relied on the lightning rat to pass the test and enter the finals. Her reputation had reached its peak. Even Yi Hao, who had won the championship, was not as popular as Xuanhuan. After all, coming in second wasn't the main point. The main point was that she had won using the lightning rat. The super lightning rat that could fight with a 6th rank pet left a deep impression on everyone. Is that Xuanhuan? I heard she's the first runner-up amongst the 3rd years. She looks really good. In the distance, some of the parents who were attending the exhibition were jealous and envious of Xuanhuan, who was surrounded by students. How glorious would it be if this happened to their children? Lan Lele had already become a bodyguard. She stopped everyone who came to ask for autographs and questions about the reason for the lightning rat's strength. She turned around and called out to Xuanhuan, "You guys go ahead. Don't bother about me. We'll meet up at the same old place." Her tone sounded like a warrior who was ready to die. Su Ping grabbed Xuanhuan's hand and rushed into the academy as he saw the fanatical faces rushing toward him. He ran along a path of greenery. Behind him, a few boys were chasing after him, but they gave up after a short while. After all, it wouldn't be nice to force things. Su Ping stopped halfway and slapped his head. "Aren't we here for publicity?" Xuanhuan said, "Yes." "Then why are we running?" "Ah, yes." Xuanhuan and Su Ping stared at each other. However, it was a little strange to turn around and go back. Su Ping pondered for a moment. "Forget it. Let's meet up with the 2nd promoter first. I don't care if you don't want the trash at the door. You should know your college better. Go find those rich ones first." Xuanhuan was stunned for a moment. She felt sorry for Lan Lele in her heart. After all, she was the school belle and the daughter of a rich family. Now, Su Ping was treating her as a 2nd promoter. Wait, if she was number 2, then who was number 1? Xuanhuan was startled. By the time she came back to her senses, Su Ping was already far away. She opened her mouth, smiled bitterly, and chased after him. Not long after, the 3 of them met up at a pavilion in a meadow. Phoenix Peak Academy was extremely large and it was covered in greenery, from meadows to woods. Not only were there resting pavilions, but there were also some fish ponds for viewing. Hey, isn't that Han Xiangcheng and the rest? Lan Lele suddenly saw a few people walking on a stone path. Xuanhuan's eyes lit up. She said to Su Ping, "All of them are on the battle power rankings." Battle power rankings. Su Ping was surprised. So they're rich. Hurry, don't let them go. Xuanhuan blushed a little when she heard Su Ping's urging. She had never taken the initiative to strike up a conversation with anyone. It was always others who took the first step. It was too embarrassing to pass out flyers at the academy. Su Ping could tell that she was shy. He snapped. "Handing out flyers is also a job. Okay. Are you looking down on this job?" Xuanhuan quickly replied, "No." "Then why aren't you going?" Xuanhuan bit her lip. She had no choice but to brace herself and follow Lan Lele. Xuanhuan, the leader of the group, Han Xiangcheng, was a little surprised to see Xuanhuan and Lan Lele jumping out of the room. Looking at their flushed faces, his heart skipped a beat. Could it be that they have taken a fancy to my handsome self? Well, please take a look at this. Xuanhuan blushed and handed a flyer to Han Xiangcheng. Han Xiangcheng was a little puzzled. He took the flyer and looked at it. He couldn't help but be shocked. What is this? This is my lightning rat's cultivation shop. Xuanhuan blushed. My lightning rat was trained there. You can go there if you're interested. Ah, Han Xiangcheng was shocked, doubting his ears. This is not how the story should unfold. Wasn't the beauty's face red? Wasn't it filled with love? My heart was stirred, but you're just showing me this. Xuanhuan quickly passed each of them a flyer and said that they could visit if they liked it. Then, she turned around and ran away. Seeing that she had settled everything before she could even speak, Lan Lele ran back with Xuanhuan. Done. Xuanhuan panted as she ran. Her heart was pounding. Su Ping saw that the other party had accepted the flyer from afar and was very satisfied. Not bad, not bad. Let's go find your rich classmates. Xuanhuan and Lan Lele looked at each other. They knew that Su Ping's cultivation service was not bad, but why did they feel like they were scamming their classmates? The 3 of them wandered around the academy and soon found a new target. Xuanhuan suddenly had an idea. She followed Lan Lele and returned shortly after. The thick flyers in their hands were gone. Su Ping was surprised. Where are the flyers? They have them. They will hand them out for us. Su Yuanying giggled, her eyes filled with cunningness. Su Ping was speechless. They learned how to create downlines this fast. Then, did you tell them that they should prioritize the rich? Su Ping asked. I did, Su Yuanying promised with all her might, but she didn't dare to look Su Ping in the eye. She felt a bit guilty. Su Ping was expecting that as a matter of course, but how could she confess? Of course she didn't. However, she felt that even if she didn't say it, as long as those flyers were distributed, Su Ping's store would become more famous and the news would spread like wildfire. Everyone would know about it. They would have to line up to enter. Su Ping took a glance at her and knew that she didn't say anything. However, he couldn't pursue the matter. As long as the promotion was done, dozens of people going to the store would be enough to keep him busy. Boss, let's go watch the matches first. Although it's not our turn yet, all the exhibition matches are very exciting. You have to see them. Su Yuanying immediately changed the topic. Su Ping nodded. At this time, Su Lingyu's exhibition match was about to begin. Are all the exhibition matches for the first to the third years at the same venue? Su Ping asked. Of course. Su Yuanying grinned. They're all at the largest stadium. Let's go then, Su Ping said. With the two girls accompanying him, Su Ping walked towards the competition stadium. Astral Pet Store. Chapter 79, 7th rank. There was a huge plaza outside the venue. Many students who had brought their relatives to the competition stadium were still strolling around. Su Ping was surprised to find that it was as the news reported. The Phoenix Peak Academy had set off a storm of lightning rats. Among the students he had seen along the way, 7 had a purple-furred lightning rat with them. Those unaware would think that it was a school that specialized in cultivating lightning rats. Su Yuanying noticed Su Ping's expression and said with a smile, Boss, this is all thanks to you. Su Ping chuckled. The three of them entered the stadium. The interior of the hall was huge, enough to accommodate 100,000 people. Su Yuanying and Lan Lele were clearly very familiar with the place, as they navigated through the complex sections and passageways with ease. Very soon, they arrived at a place with front row seats. The view was very good. This was the area from where the upperclassmen would watch the competition. Look, it's Jiang Bingshan. Lan Lele pouted. At this moment, a man and a woman were engaged in a fierce battle in the stadium's arena. However, although the battle seemed intense, it was just gaudy, not much lethality was involved. Even so, the atmosphere of the arena was pumped, people cheered uncontrollably. Su Yuanying glanced for a moment and then looked away. She was very calm. This time, she barely made it into the top 8. I heard that the academy assigned her to a second-level team. She had to serve in a Class C barren area for a year before she could be promoted to an official settler. Lan Leal's face was full of smiles, but her tone was dripping with a sense of schadenfreude. Now, she can't be arrogant in front of you anymore. You're being fought over by those first-level battle teams. Once you reach the barren areas, you'll become an official settler. Besides, you only need to serve in the Class C barren area for 3 months before you're sent for training in a Class B barren area. Your growth rate will definitely surpass her. It is not impossible for you to become a titled battle pet warrior in the future. Su Yuanying looked at the tall and proud figure on the stage and sighed. She knew that she was only lucky to have met Su Ping. Otherwise, with her pets, she would only be able to enter the top 8 at best. They were on par with her competitors. But fate was like this. From then on, she would rise up and grow rapidly, completely severing this competitive relationship. She would meet new opponents and see a wider world. All of this would turn into memories of the past. Barren area, battle team. Su Ping heard the two girls' words and thought of Fan Yujing's sister, Fan Xiaoyu. She was also a student of this school, but she had already entered the barren area for training. He asked, do you all become settlers after graduation? Lan Lele shook her head and said, Yingying will, it's her dream. But I won't. Even if I'm willing, my father won't let me. Besides, I don't want to go to a godforsaken place like a barren area. I can't even shower every day. Xuanhuan smiled and said, that's nothing if it means I can become a powerful battle pet warrior. Lan Lele pursed her lips. Why should I become a powerful battle pet warrior? Even if I'm an 8th rank battle pet warrior, I'm still my father's bodyguard. There's nothing in this world that money can't resolve, unless you don't have enough money. Earning money is the most important thing. Xuanhuan smiled bitterly. She knew that she wouldn't be able to find a common ground with her in this topic. The environment of their upbringing was different, and everyone pursued their dreams differently. Isn't this Xuanhuan? Suddenly, a gentle and calm voice could be heard. The few of them turned around and saw 3 people walking in their direction, 2 of them trailing behind like lackeys. The young man walking in front was dressed in casual clothes. He had short hair and looked very spirited. His eyes were deep and warm, but he had a sharpness that could burst out at any moment. His temperament was restrained, but his outstanding persona would attract everyone's attention wherever he went. Yi Hao. Xuanhuan was surprised to see the young man. Why are you here? This is where the audience stands are. Why can't I come here? Yi Hao smiled. Xuanhuan knew that she had said something wrong and shook her head. No, that's not what I meant. Shouldn't you be with your class? Yi Hao smiled and said, I came here looking for you. You're looking for me. That's right. Yi Hao smiled. The last time I fought with your lightning rat, my thunder basilisk seemed to have been agitated. It has broken through and has reached the 7th rank, officially entering adulthood. Although it's still too early to become a real adult, it's still all good. I'm here to thank you. It broke through to the 7th rank. Xuanhuan was stunned. Lan Lele, who was standing next to her, was shocked as well. The other party was just a student in school. He had already nurtured a 7th rank pet. Moreover, to be able to summon a 7th rank pet, one could only imagine how powerful Yi Hao's astral power cultivation had to be. You can't be an advanced battle pet warrior, right? Lan Lele couldn't help but ask. If that were the case, it would be too shocking. Yi Hao glanced at her and laughed. It's not that fast. We're still students, aren't we? I used to have level 4 astral power and suffered a backlash by the thunder basilisk. I was lucky enough to break through to level 5. With my astral power, I can only barely summon the thunder basilisk. I can't let it stay out for long. 5th level. Xuanhuan and Lan Lele's expressions changed when they heard his words. They were still at the 4th level. Xuanhuan was in the middle of the 4th level while Lan Lele was in the lower position of the 4th level. Her strength was already considered outstanding and she was a top student in her class. However, compared to Yi Hao's 5th level, she paled in comparison. At the level of a middle-rank battle pet warrior, the difference between astral power levels was extremely obvious, not to mention that there was a huge gap between them. It was like a chasm that couldn't be bridged. Apart from gratitude, I'm here to say hi to you. After the thunder basilisk broke through to the 7th rank, it underwent some changes. It has a dragon's might. I haven't learned how to restrain it yet, Yi Hao said. You know that this is an exhibition match. If your lightning rat were to tremble in fear, I'm afraid things will turn a little nasty. Although your lightning rat is monstrous, it is still of a low-class bloodline. It is natural to fear high-class bloodlines. So, I suggest that you use your fallen phoenix to fight me. In that case, at least it will look good. I will show mercy. If it weren't for Yi Hao's gentle smile, Xuanhuan would have thought that he was there to provoke her. However, seeing that Yi Hao didn't seem to have any ill intentions, she felt a little depressed and uncomfortable, but she still said, I understand. I will consider it. You don't have to consider further. Su Ping heard what she had said and stepped in. You can fight however you want. It's just a 7th rank pet. Not only is it not an adult, the lightning rat won't be scared even if an adult beast king shows up. Ha! Yi Hao, Xuanhuan, and the others looked at Su Ping. Xuanhuan was stunned for a moment. Her eyes lit up. Really? Su Ping was the cause of the lightning rat's change. She was convinced by Su Ping's words. Moreover, she remembered that there was a battle against the dragon hound. The dragon hound had used a deterrence technique mixed with dragon's might at the time, but it was ineffective against the lightning rat. It was clear that Su Ping's words were not baseless. And this is. Yi Hao frowned. He was polite to Su Yanning because she had been scouted by a first-rate team and had a bright future ahead of her. However, he had never seen Su Ping before. He wasn't on the college's battle power rankings. Besides, Su Ping sounded exaggerated. What did an adult beast king mean? Just seeing one might already mean death. This was one of the few monsters in the world. Ignoring the lightning rat, even the proud thunder basilisk would tremble in front of a beast king. Could it be that the lightning rat had a higher blood lineage than the thunder basilisk and had a prideful temperament? Astral Pet Store. Chapter 80. Appointment Fee. Su Yanning then remembered she had not made the proper introductions. She immediately said, Yi Hao, this is Boss Su. My lightning rat was trained in his store. He is also half the owner of my lightning rat. Speaking of which, Boss Su might know more about the lightning rat than I do. Boss Su, Yi Hao is the champion of our school's annual tournament. He is the one who is most willing to spend money on pets. The latter half of the sentence was obviously a hint to Su Ping. Boss Su, Yi Hao was surprised. Su Ping was about his age. The latter was a few years younger than him. How was he such a young boss? Moreover, the lightning rat had been groomed in his store. Didn't that mean that he had a master in his store? To be able to hire a cultivation master at such a young age, could it be someone from a large conglomerate or a large family clan? He didn't doubt Su Yanying's words. Such a lie would not do Su Yanning any good. If word got out, it would lower her standing in the eyes of her mentor and the battle team. After all, everyone thought that she had trained the lightning rat herself. In that short moment, many thoughts surfaced in his mind, and the coldness on his face disappeared without a trace. He maintained his composure and smiled. So, the lightning rat was trained in Boss Su's store. I wonder where Boss Su's store is. If there's a chance, I hope that you can help me cultivate my thunder basilisk. No matter how much it costs, I'm willing to pay for it. Of course, money is nothing special. Boss Su, you may not be interested in it, but if there's anything else that I need to do, I'll do my best. I'm absolutely sincere. When Su Yanning and Lan Lele heard his words, they thought to themselves, nope. He just wants money. Su Ping would not reject a business offer. Judging from the man's appearance, he was obviously rich. He nodded. Since you're so sincere, I can consider it. If you give me 100,000 now, I can consider nurturing your pet with priority. 100,000. Su Yanning and Lan Lilo were startled when they heard Su Ping's exorbitant demand. They couldn't help but glance at Su Ping. And this is just to get in line. They thought that Su Ping had been nefarious enough. But he could be even worse. This was daylight robbery. Before Su Ping opened his mouth, he had asked the system inwardly and got the answer he wanted. The system was only responsible for keeping a close eye on the cost of the service in the store. It didn't care about anything else. For example, the gratitude fee and the queuing fee were all things Su Ping could arrange and decide for himself. However, the system would not help to convert the extra money Su Ping collected into energy. Therefore, money was just money. Although money could not be used to buy items from the system store, money was very useful in the Federation, nearly omnipotent in fact. Just as Lan Lele had said, you could buy anything with enough money. This included the things in warehouses. With enough money, one could also spend money to hire settlers to buy them with merit points before trading with them. Su Ping had come up with this idea at the last minute. He didn't expect it to work. This could be considered as taking advantage of the system's loopholes. After all, the system's prices were too rigid. Loopholes could be found in rigidness. Humans happen to be the most cunning creatures, able to exploit such loopholes. What pained Su Ping was not having thought of this sooner. Otherwise, he could have gotten more money from Su Yanning. However, Su Yanning didn't even have the money for the nurturing. He couldn't get much from a poor person. Su Ping glanced at Xuanhuan, who was standing next to him. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Xuanhuan was baffled. Why did she feel like she was being despised? 100,000. Yi Hao was stunned for a moment when he heard Su Ping's words. He gave him a strange look. It wasn't that he found it strange to be asked for money, nor did he find it very exorbitant. On the contrary, he felt that the pricing was too low. To be able to cultivate a low-level lightning rat to such a level, it had to be done by a master trainer. As for the store that had a master trainer, the queuing fee was only 100,000. Was 100,000 even considered money? In his eyes, that was not the case. As far as he knew, those well-known pet shops with a master trainer needed years to make an advanced appointment. If they wanted to cut the queue, they would need at least a few 100,000. If they were to directly cut the queue to the front of the line, they would need at least 1 million. No problem. Yi Hao immediately nodded his head. As he agreed, he glanced at Xuanhuan and then at Lan Lele beside her. Although 100,000 wasn't money to him, it was a little foolish to give it willy-nilly. He thought that Lan Lele's family was rich after all, so everything they said could be trusted. Su Ping was stunned for a moment when he saw Yi Hao agree so readily. He regretted it immediately. When a man is poor, his ambition isn't far-reaching. It seemed like he had accepted too little. He sighed in his heart, but he couldn't go back on his word at this moment. Was he going to simply accept it? He pondered for a moment and suddenly remembered that he had said he was going to consider. Yes, consider. The word, consider, was debatable. He glanced at Yi Hao and said, since you're so straightforward, I'll let you be the 10th in line. Xuanhuan and Lan Lele were dumbfounded once again. 10th. Are there people making advanced appointments at your shop? If they remembered correctly, every time they went to Su Ping's store, the boss would be slumped on the counter doing nothing. The store was bleak. There weren't any customers. Besides, if someone really made an appointment, would they still be forced to send out flyers? Yi Hao, on the other hand, felt that it was very normal and was rather happy. However, he noticed that Xuanhuan and Lan Lele's expressions seemed a little strange. He couldn't help but feel that something was amiss. He pondered for a moment and felt that there shouldn't be any problems. There was no chance that they were lying. If he was a liar, with his family's connections, he absolutely could make Su Ping pay a heavy price. Okay, Yi Hao agreed. He asked for Su Ping's account and immediately transferred 100,000 to him. Su Ping clicked his tongue poignantly when he heard the sound of a deposit notification. This was a rich and handsome guy from a famous school. He spent money without batting an eyelid. Sure enough, it wasn't wrong to come here to fleece. No, solicit business. Okay, I'll inform you of the exact time when it's your turn, Su Ping said generously. Yi Hao nodded slightly and suddenly asked, Boss Su, from what you said earlier, have you personally seen Beast Kings before? Yes, Su Ping said casually. Xuanhuan and Lan Lele were stunned when they heard this. They looked at Su Ping in astonishment. He had seen a Beast King before. They had only seen one in the disaster news at most. But in reality, they hadn't even seen a 9th-rank pet, not to mention a Beast King. Yi Hao was taken aback. He took a closer look at Su Ping. Could he really be a member of a big family? Only those big family clans had the ability to protect their clansmen so that they had the chance to see a Beast King in real life as a way to embolden them. However, it was also possible that he was just taking a peek from afar. It wasn't as amazing as he thought. Boss Su is indeed extraordinary, he praised with a smile. Su Ping was pleased. This young man has a bright future. With the two ladies by his side, Yi Hao didn't want to appear too humble. After all, his status wasn't too bad either. After informing the two girls, he turned around and left. Once Yi Hao was gone, Xuanhuan asked Su Ping at once, Boss, is it true what you said? Have you really seen a Beast King? And, is my lightning rat really not afraid of one? Su Ping nodded his head. It's basically immune to deterrence-type skills. So, feel free to fight with the lightning rat. After all, your match will be the grand finale. I'm sure everyone here has heard about your lightning rat. If they don't see it in action, wouldn't they be disappointed? They might even think that all the hearsay was just a bunch of false rumors. Xuanhuan was taken aback. She had never thought about this. Su Ping's words made sense. In that case, even if the lightning rat was intimidated by the advanced thunder basilisk, she had no choice but to battle with it. Lan Lele nodded as well. Boss is right. If you use the fallen phoenix, even if the other party is willing to give in, it will be a one-sided defeat, making the thunder basilisk stand out in the entire exhibition match. Your brilliance will be completely covered up and no one will pay attention to you anymore. Instead, if you use the lightning rat, as long as you display the skills of your pet, it will be enough to attract attention. It doesn't matter if you lose. I understand. Xuanhuan nodded. Seeing that something was wrong with her expression, she asked, why? Lan Lele snorted at the direction where Yi Hao had left and said, this Yi Hao has ill intentions. These days, all the academy has been talking about your lightning rat. I think he's just jealous and wants to steal your limelight. What kind reminder, he's just a snobbish fellow. She had been born in a business environment, so she was more sensitive to these things than Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan was not stupid. She understood what she meant and frowned slightly. Lan Lele snorted and said, it's a good thing that boss cheated him out of 100,000. He paid a small price for it. HMPH, who asked him to scheme against someone. Su Ping objected, what do you mean by me cheating him out of 100,000? My pricing is very reasonable, all right. End of the chapter. Astral Pets Store will be read in 5 chapters for every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. Please leave this sound novel and press subscribe, follow, and the bell so you don't miss any new clips as well. See you.